Hello there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, and wellness advocate, and today's topic is extremely sensitive. I am coming from a very transparent place and very vulnerable place, and it's a situation where I believe that this could help others, especially those who are seeking closure with past relationships that have hurt them, toxic relationships, narcissistic abuse, and so forth. And so today I decided to put myself out there and just keep it real. I have very little makeup on today because I'll be honest, I've spent my entire morning and afternoon crying. I had a powerful dream about my mother last night, and it was so vivid, it was so real, it was a supernatural dream, something that I consider in the lines of prophetic. And this isn't the first time I've had these types of dreams, but this one with my mother really came at such an awesome moment in time. I mean, here we are getting ready to celebrate Valentine's Day. I'm heading into my 1-year anniversary of being no contact with my mother. And before I share my dream, I just wanted to kind of keep people up to date on the situation, especially those who are new to my channel. I don't always explain everything because it's so personal, and there's still so much grief. I'm still in a grieving process. We cannot think that we go no contact or low contact with people who are in our lives, especially our parents, and that we just walk away with no problems, no struggles, no trials, no tears, no trauma, no grief. Instead, we go through a flood of grief. We are hit and bombarded on every side with so many emotions. I am talking roller coaster emotions. And there's a lot of things I may not share, but today I feel like there's some things that need to be shared. And the reason why is because I know I have a lot of people following me who are battling right now abuse from their families, from their loved ones, and this could be encouragement for you. And I really pray that it is encouragement and it could give you hope and help you find some form of peace of mind. The situation is that my mother has had cancer. She's been battling cancer for 4 years. And while at this current time, I do not know and I am not aware if she is alive or deceased, that I do have dreams with her in my dreams. There are times at night I am having dreams. I feel it is a part of my subconscious that is trying to manage the roller coaster emotions, the trauma, neglect, abuse, and the horrific grief that I have been experiencing for this past year. And so I'll head into my dream now. So my dream is that it starts off where I'm a younger person. I'm much, much younger. I'm not married. I don't have children. I'm guessing I'm in my late 20s or early 30s. And in my dream, I decide to return to college, and I'm really excited about it. I'm thrilled for this new beginning. And in my dream, I was applying to this university and waiting for a response. And I ended up receiving this response that I was accepted into this program. And I was thrilled and delighted and excited for these new adventures in my life. And in my dream, I would be moving into the dormitory of this university, and I would be making major transitions in my life, brand new changes, moving upward, people. Education is a good thing. And so in my dream, it was very apparent that my mother and I were no contact. And it was clear in my dream that I had not been speaking to her. We had not seen each other. But in my dream, I decided to go visit my mother. So I visit my mother and I am at her home. And in my dream, what used to be my bedroom it was changed. She turned it into more like a little TV room, like a casual room and so forth. And the one feeling I had when I could see that she changed the bedroom, it was no longer my bedroom, no longer my belongings or anything to do with me, absolutely no reminders of me. It made me feel in my dream that she moved on. And in the dream, there was this overall message of both of us moving on. And so I had been heading into a brand new life of going back to school, of seeking education and new skills, and it was an exciting time for me. And then there I am, I'm visiting my mom, and we're briefly talking, and there was this overall tension. A tension because we had been no contact, a tension because we had not been getting along, because there has been so much turmoil in our relationship, and our relationship was broken. But in this dream, we weren't really conflicting. We were not fighting or anything like that. Instead, we were talking, and I was sharing with my mother that I was accepted into the university. And in the dream, I heard a voice, and I can't recall if it was my mom or if it was a sibling or another female. But in the dream, someone started saying really negative things about the university and about the dormitory, and they were saying how dangerous it is. Basically, they were raining on my parade. So typical, isn't it? So typical. I'm so used to having family members who, when I have something good happening in my life, they turn around and they twist it into something negative. And in my dream, I wouldn't hear of it. I didn't want to talk about that. I ignored them. It wasn't open for discussion. And all of a sudden, the dream takes a turn. And it's almost like now we're in a new scene. It's like part 2 of the same dream. Suddenly, my mother and I were walking outdoors. It's beautiful outside. It's sunny. It's warm. It's fabulous weather. And it appears that we're somewhere that is not like on Earth. And I'm going to keep it real here, people. I'm really questioning now in my real life. I'm questioning if in my dream this was heaven. I'm questioning if for any reason this was just almost a supernatural, powerful experience of walking with my mom in heaven, and the situation of what happened and what took place that was super, super unbelievable. Eye-opening. I'm still in awe. Like I said, I've been in tears all afternoon, all morning. It's really, really, really triggered a lot of emotions. So in my dream, the colors are not like the colors on Earth. The colors that were in this dream were so much more vivid, so much more bold and gorgeous and beautiful. The flowers, the butterflies, the birds in the sky, the trees, the grass, just the scene was so amazing. And I was in awe. In my dream, when my mother and I started walking on a pathway together, I'm almost in tears again. We were walking on a pathway together. In my dream, it was so beautiful. Now, this is the funny part. It was so beautiful that my natural instinct was to take a picture. I wanted to snap a picture because I wanted to remember that always, because it was so unique and it was something I've never experienced, and it was not like on Earth. It was something that took my breath away. And so this natural instinct kind of clicked in, and there was this part of me that really had this urge to grab my cell phone and snap a picture. And yet in my dream, I sensed that I needed to be mindful. I sensed I needed to be in the moment. I needed to just be walking next to my mother and not getting distracted and not interrupting this beautiful time, and instead just go with it, go with the flow. And so I did. And so we're walking this pathway which leads us to the other side of this beautiful place. It almost seemed a little bit like a park out in nature, very serene, a lot of tranquility. We sit down on a bench. She's on my right. And there is someone who is entertaining us. It's a man. He's maybe around my age or a little bit older, and he has a baby. He's holding a baby, and that was very interesting. And he's entertaining my mother and I, though, and singing. And you know how a lot of times when you're out and about, whether you're in a city or you're in a park or wherever, there are people who are musicians or singers, or they have their guitars. And this is common, actually. But there we were sitting on a bench, and we were being entertained by this man. And he even had like some comedy. Like this guy even like had one little funny thing that he said, and it was involving the baby, and we kind of chuckled. And then we're sitting there, and my mom and I basically were not really speaking. We weren't really looking at each other a whole lot. I would take some glimpses of her, but we were more so watching this man. And there was a sense of peace. There was a sense of closure, almost like my mom and I were having closure. We were having closure from the brokenness, from the going to contact, from the years and years of neglect and abuse, the psychological trauma, and so forth. And, you know, like an abandonment wound, you know, I felt like she emotionally was never available to me. I felt like she was, especially when I was a child, she was absent. Physically, she was present. Emotionally, she was absent. Spiritually, she was absent. But in this dream, there we are, and we're sitting side by side, and there's a peace between us. And all of a sudden, she takes out of her hand, she must have reached into her purse, and she brings coins. Now, I don't recall how many coins, but I know there was at least 3, 4, 5 silver coins. And in my dream, it was almost like a knowing. I knew that my mother was going to give these coins to this man who was entertaining us, and it was like a tip. It was like a thank you. And so that is when basically the dream ends. It ends where I look over at my mother. She reaches in, she gets these silver coins. I could see the silver coins, and I know it was almost like a silent understanding. She's going to tip this man, almost like a thank you. And then I awake. And so as I started revisiting this dream and started thinking and pondering, what does this dream mean? Whoa, I'm blown away. I'm blown away, and the reason I'm in tears is because it was so vivid. It was so supernatural. It was so powerful. It felt so real. And, you know, when I started looking up a few things to do with the dream, you know, if we just even talk about, well, what do the silver coins mean? You know, the silver coins, I have notes. The silver coins mean redemption, divinity, truth, atonement, salvation. You know, redemption is almost like God's cleaning my mother's slate. He's just cleaning that slate. You know, everything's wiped away, everything's new. And it brought a lot of emotions, this flood. I mean, I'm talking waterfalls of tears, because I'm coming to understand this dream, and the way I'm perceiving it, the way I am interpreting it, is that we were in heaven. And this is a sense of closure, that it's almost like a gift that God gave me, that he knew that I'm grieving. He knew that I don't know if my mother's alive or if she's deceased. I don't know the situation. He understands how sticky the situation is, how serious it is, that I have boundaries, that I'm not going to break my boundaries. I'm not going to communicate with her that this is over. That part of my life is over. But yet I am grieving the loss. You know, we have to understand whether we break off a relationship, somehow it's ended or not, you know, in whatever way it happens, especially when we do choose, after all those years, we choose to stand by our healthy boundaries and go no contact and just try to form a new life and new beginnings and seek healing. Oftentimes we will have dreams about these people. We will have many, many moments of sadness. of a lot of emotions to do with the stages of grief, even anger. Anger is a stage of grief. Yes, I have a righteous anger for being neglected, being physically abused as a child, being neglected as a child, psychologically being abused as an adult, for the times my mom tried to physically attack me, physically as an adult. This is not okay. This is unhealthy. This is toxic. This is abusive. And I'm very well aware of that. I think when we have these dreams, for those of us who do dream at night about whether it's the narcissist, whether it's the toxic siblings, whether it's your ex-spouse, whether it's a deceased person in your life, whether it's someone who's still living, but you may not even have any communication whatsoever with them. You don't know how they're doing, but you need to make peace within your own heart and soul. We have to understand that sometimes dreams could be a way for us to have closure. It's a way for us to make peace, even if it's not okay what we've gone through. It's okay to not feel okay. And I could guarantee today I haven't felt okay about the partings of ways with my mother and how that last conversation went with her when she chose to not say, I'm sorry, when she chose hate over love, when she chose bitterness over harmony and unity. I can't change her, but I could still pray for her. And so today, I'm really, really seeking, a better clarity and understanding about this dream. I definitely do believe that it is in a, it is in a certain prophetic message that, think about this, if she's been a very hurtful person, a very abusive person, what is she going through? What has she been experiencing? My best guess is turmoil. My best guess is she's having a lot of struggles too. If she's still alive, I'm praying for her redemption. This whole thing, seeing those silver coins, this is speaking loud and clear to me, in which, I am praying for her own salvation. I am praying for her redemption. I am praying for her to be at peace. And I think right now I'm at a place where I am realizing today it is extremely profound that part of healing is when you're able to no longer have such negative feelings, but you start loving them. You realize you've always loved them. You realize you won't stop loving them even though they hurt you. I still love her even though there's been horrific turmoil and trauma. And we have to understand that part of the healing, what's so major, what's so supernatural and empowering is when we're able to say, I'm releasing you. I'm releasing you from everything you did to me. I'm hoping and praying that they are at peace, that they are at a place where they can be at peace with their own past, be at peace with their own self. When she takes her last breath, I want her to be in a better place. I want her to know that God still loves her, regardless of what she's done. And I would be more so at peace knowing that she's in heaven. And so today, I think that dream and seeing the silver coins and that it means redemption, that it's a prophetic sign. The symbolism is that she very well may be receiving atonement, that she may be in a certain situation right now. How do I know what's going on with her? I don't. How do I know that she's not asking God for forgiveness? I don't. And who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? We shall not judge. And so today, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know if you're having dreams or nightmares. And trust me, I've had my share of nightmares too, about my past, about my family, about the things they've done to me. I've had a lot of nightmares, but this dream was, I think, a very positive dream. It was a heavenly dream. It was a prophetic dream. It was a supernatural, powerful dream. And I just, today, I hope that it encourages you that maybe we can find closure. And it might not be a face-to-face communication, discussion, or any kind of peacemaking with them personally, face-to-face, but instead it's something that we do on our own. The closure is found, me, on my own, you know, and it was through this dream, and I really believe that I'm healing. I am healing. I have no doubt I am so much further today than I was a year ago, and I know that even a year from now and a year from now, and it just keeps going on each year, I will be doing better and better. And it doesn't mean that I will just like get over this trauma and get over narcissistic abuse or get over all of the pain of my past, but it does mean that I choose to keep walking, that I choose to be transformed, that I choose to release all of the pain, and I choose joy and forgiveness and love and harmony and unity, because I know that it will benefit me and my life, and I want my life to be a legacy of hope. And so today I pray that this does give you hope. Please share with me if you've ever had dreams or even nightmares about people, whether it is the narcissist, toxic siblings, ex-spouse, so forth. Share with me what you think about the silver coins, and if you'd like to share anything else, personal experiences of what you're going through, feel free to do so. In the meanwhile, you can go to DanaArcuri.com.